morning. Welcome on this Wednesday morning, November 10. And the weather is opened back up to be back outside, and the trees are still dripping from the cold and maybe the remnants of rain. But it's so beautiful out here. Letitia, good morning to you. Debbie King, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Mom. Good to see you this morning. Daryl and Suzanne, welcome. Barbara Richardson, good morning to you. It's so good out here. Jonathan, good morning. Wendy and Jeremy, good morning to you. Oftentimes the turkeys are on this hillside down below me, above the Victorian. But this morning they're behind me and I can't see them. But the hens are over here, and the toms are over there, and they're calling to one another. So you may hear that in the background at some point. Karen Lowe, good morning. Sally Crocker, Steve and Andrea, good morning. Mike and Joe Stromberg, welcome to you this morning. So this morning's passage is one that is probably the most familiar passage in the book of Ecclesiastes. And it's chapter 3, verses 1 through 8 is what I'm going to read. And good morning, Deanne. Good morning, Dana. Good to see you both this morning. So I'll just read the passage. You will recognize it undoubtedly. A popular band called The Byrds wrote a song with these words in it. And it reads like this. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant, a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill, a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, a time to lose. A time to keep, a time to cast away. A time to tear, a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. And I'll read one more or a couple more verses here that kind of summarize it, but I'm going to also read these verses tomorrow to sum up our week. And the writer says, "What gain has the worker from all his toil? I have seen the business that God has given to the children of man to be busy with. He has made everything beautiful in its time." So we use the word seasons oftentimes to talk about transient periods of time that we are experiencing currently. And this is a part of God's design for us. It teaches us specific things. Right now we are experiencing fall. The weather is cooling. The days are getting shorter. You can see the black oak behind me. The trees are turning color. They'll eventually fall off and the tree will be bare. And every fall this happens is very predictable. It's a season, but it's not one that is permanent, right? It's going to give way to winter. Winter's going to give way to spring, and spring will give way to summer. Seasons, by definition, are transient. And so we look at that with regard to almost all of our experiences. We have to remember that those things that are happening in our life that are just so good and all of the things around us that we're enjoying and everything seems to be clicking, we have to hold those things loosely in our hands because we know that there's a time for everything, right? It's a time to take pleasure and enjoy and laugh and celebrate. But those great, wonderful seasons often give way to other experiences that may not feel as good. In the same way, we look at those unpleasant experiences, those difficulties, those setbacks, those challenges, those losses that we experience, we also have to look at those as transient. It's not going to be this way forever. You know, things will move differently. You're not going to feel about the world the way you feel today. If it feels dark and distant and oppressive, whatever you're feeling, feelings of depression and so on, that too is transient. And so we have the one of the underlying messages here is to be accepting of your current season. Now, I was referring primarily to circumstantial seasons. Another seasons that we observe is our seasons of life. When we're teenagers, when we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, everything has its seasons. At some points in our life, we have little kids at home, and they demand so much of our attention, they can't even dress themselves, right? Then they get a little bit more independent, so we get a little bit of a break because now we can actually go out to dinner if we want to, and they can, we can have a sitter, or they get older yet, and they're starting to actually contribute to the household, not yet without resistance, and the challenges of teenage life and so on. But then, all of a sudden you're an empty nester and they're gone, and you're like, what? And then they're getting married and having families of their own. They have to split their time between your house at Christmas and somebody else's house at Christmas. Everything has a season, right? Our bodies, as they age, I'm no longer in my 20s. I don't heal as quickly when I get injured. I can't sustain the same kind of pace of life. Things are slowing down. And we acknowledge that when we get in our 60s, 70s, 80s. Our mind is still working great. We know who we are. I'm still just as capable as I was when I was in 20s, 30s, and 40s. But at 80, other parts of me are saying, hey, I can't do that anymore. And it's a season. So there's these circumstantial seasons of ups and downs. There's these natural seasons of the progression of our life and what that part of life demands from us. But all of these things, to live at peace, to understand the peace of God, we must first of all accept them, to be accepting of the seasons. I wish I could grab a hold of a particular season and just take all the best out of it and just experience that all the time. But that's not the way life works. We must be accepting of those seasons if we are going to have peace. If we are going to have a sense of contentedness today, we must accept the season, the time, the moments, the experiences God has given us today. That's a part of finding peace in this life. Secondly, what I think seasons teach us is that we are not in control. I like to be in control. I like my life to be as predictable as possible. I like to understand that if I do a certain list of things and I do them diligently, there's going to be a very predictable outcome. And for the most part, that's true. Most of our lives, we wake up, we make a bunch of choices, and those choices generally are the product, produce the product we're looking for. But all of us experience, that moment where, we absolutely need all green lights to get there on time, and we get all reds. We have one thought about the day, but then we wake up and a water pipe is broken in our garage, and now our whole day is turned upside down. We get a check engine light on our car or a flat tire. Things are changing now. Those are unexpected expenses. They teach us we are not in control. There's only one, and this is, I think, in tune with the writer of Ecclesiastes. One thing that is very frustrating to the writer, that he can't control life. But he acknowledges there's only one who can control all things, the one who is in control, and that is God himself. In fact, we're going to read it tomorrow too, and maybe I'm jumping ahead too much, but he talks about fearing God. Okay, yeah, later in verse 14 it says, I perceive that whatever God does endures forever. Nothing can be added to it. He's the one truly in control. Um, so that people fear before Him. So we acknowledge our limitations. We acknowledge that God alone is in control, and we move toward Him in reverence and also trust. So we accept our circumstances as they come. We understand that they're transient. So we hold them loosely, and we put our faith and trust in God, who is ultimately in control. We let go of the frustration, I can't control life. There's so many changes that happen that we just prefer not. I wished people move away. This has happened this year, and recent years. People move out of your life, friendships, circumstances that cause friendships to end, and people you love to move out, actually physically move away, and you're left with like, that hurts. I don't like this, But these are all changes, things we can't control, and so the conclusion is that we fear the Lord, that we understand, we trust God in this process. We accept our current season, trust God in the process, know that season is transient, and normal and good. Good may not be the right word. I mean that in a very robust way, good. Things that are painful can also be good. They're very normal for us to experience. And so I have often been had the practice of being upset that my day isn't going the way that I would prefer. And I'm fighting against the reality of these things. I'm not being accepting. I'm not feeling like I'm trusting the Lord. I'm more so questioning things. I'm angry. And it's all due to my unwillingness to hold my life loosely, to accept things that I cannot change, and to accept that I cannot control everything. And it leads me to a greater life of peace and a greater trust in the Lord, who loves me and who is in control, who is a part of every season of my life. So thoughts for today. I hope that they are helpful to you as you navigate the things that you enjoy for now, or the things that you're kind of enduring for now. So Lord bless you today, and hopefully we'll see you, Lord willing, not within our ability to control. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. God bless.